they are coming here to eliminate what they feel is a completely out of focus tradition. And I'm telling you guys something, it's embarrassing what was told to me, but we're going to have to go out there and play football. At 7:30, they're going to know why this thing is called the pit. They are going to know that.
Now listen up to this, because it means a lot right now. It's a prayer for help against unjust enemies.
Hey, grab a hand.
Fight, O Lord, against those who fight me. War against those who make war upon me. Say to my soul, I am your salvation. Let those be put to shame and disgraced who seek my life. Let those be turned back and confounded who plot evil against me. Let them be like chaff before the wind, with the angel of the Lord driving them on.
Let's get these guys, let's get these guys! Yeah, they're ours, they're ours! Let's go, these things! Hey, Paul! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Football, the national obsession, the most popular game in America. Each year, over 1.5 million men and boys give their body and souls to the sport. But the dimensions of football range beyond what we see from the stands or on the television screen. In reality, a win-at-any-cost ethic has swept the playing field. The highly specialized pro game has become a questionable role model for all levels of competition. Violence and serious injury are routinely accepted as part of the game. The injury toll is seldom revealed. What was once a contact game is now a collision sport. Football in America has become a troubled pastime, in danger of falling victim to its own excesses.
How? Hit that thing. If you bench press 300, you're bench pressing this thing. All right, you're giving it a 300-pound shot. No love pat. Strike! Strike!
In football today, intimidation, gang tackling, and punishing the opponent are seen as vital to success.
Well, shit, get into him! Come on, dirty Moxie!
The difference between playing hard and playing to hurt is easily lost.
From the time that you take the field as a football player, the first thing that you're taught is you got to be a great hitter. And coaches, players, fans, and everybody else involved with the game always love a hitter.
This is football as we all know it, reckless and hard-hitting. But the highlights, neatly packaged and set to music, sanitize the action. In fact, great hits often violate both the spirit and the letter of the rules.
Football is a violent sport. And that's pretty much the way I guess it has to be, especially on the college level. The shot that I took to my knee was uncalled for, and it just makes me wonder sometimes why I do play the game. It was a clip to the back of my leg, and it tore my ligaments. Thank God it was nothing else.
The time has come, I think, where we've got to start focusing on the problem and stop making excuses for it. I don't know that you could have it without the violence, per se. You can have it without certainly the excessive violence. However, I don't see us traveling that direction. I think that that's something that we as a society and as athletes are going to have to come to grips with.
Guys who are playing the game want to make an impression on pro scouts. So the only way to make an impression on pro scouts is to be violent, be nasty, and I just try and hurt the other guy.
When I took the field, I played against a uniform. I never played against people. And I think that was an attitude that I had to have. I think if you think about, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to kill Joe so-and-so, and you get to worrying about one guy, then you're not going to play a very good game.
The reason why I hit most ball carriers with full force is because they are carrying something that I won, which is called a football. And Footballs do not leave people when you just walk up to them and trip their ankles or go up and throw your arms around them. You literally have to hit them with the impact so that they really don't care where that football goes.
Hey, go! Offense! Patient! Drop 24 zip! Fuck patient! Let's go and beat their ass! Come on!
There are a lot of people who, when they put on a football helmet, change personalities and become far more violent than they are without football uniform. But there are a good number of people out there who are willing to do whatever it takes to win. It's a message that we are sending to our children that I don't think is necessarily correct. If there's a rule, you stretch it. If you're not allowed to clip people, you don't clip them, but you come awfully close. You hit them maybe harder than they need to be hit to get the job done.
Coaches, fans expect athletes to be aggressive to the point of being feared in football at virtually every level. Even Little League football coaches coach their athletes to be aggressive. One of the determining factors as to whether or not an individual has high football playing potential is essentially his killer instinct, if you will.
Cunningham, you better drive. You take a dive. Go. You'll face me. Hit him!
That's it, right there. Do your job, man. Do your job.
You get the ball, you go right through him. You don't stop for nothing.
Big man now, big man. You gotta step on his chest, step on it.
Go.
Hit him!
Nail him. Don't wait. Go, go. Cream him.
Drive, Cunningham.
I think the very nature of football lends itself to emotional child abuse. And quite frankly, many of us don't feel that there's an alternate model. Very often the coach feels that's the appropriate way.
Go. Nail him, Hunt. Hit him!
In fact, we have, as kind of a national hero, Vince Lombardi, who seemed to crystallize all of those values. We can't seem to realize that maybe the participating in the sport and getting needs can actually be taught and coached in a very different way. It can. We have just gotten in a rut with the present model that we have.
We're going to straighten up the second half?
Yes, sir!
Huh?
Yes, sir!
You want to win?
Yes, sir!
How bad?
Younger children are not as preoccupied with winning as adults are. The pro model is primarily a model to appease and please adults. Children really see as far more critical playing, getting an opportunity to be a part of the action, improving in their skills, having fun, socializing with others. That doesn't mean that they eliminate winning. They would like to win just as much as anyone else, but they can get other thrills out of the sport.
Well, I'm against all tackling football before a kid's in 9th grade or the first year of high school. I think anything below that is really harmful in a lot of ways.
Go. Get him. That's it. That's it.
When you put him into a situation where strength and physical courage are so important at an early age, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good for the young people's health, and I don't think it necessarily means that that's the best way to train them.
Offensively, they're running right over you, okay? You want to play a safety spot? You got to get there. You got to earn it. You got to be aggressive. You were good yesterday, right? You left all that at home today, so let's get it back.
I don't think we have people who are qualified to coach for those youngsters. If they're taking that game and they're listening to what Joe Paterno says about Penn State and then applying that to 9 and 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, that's totally wrong.
Many people that volunteer their time don't have the background and the training. Add to that the physical aspects of football and to some degree the physical dangers of football. And you have people that aren't qualified in how to administrate that part of it, and you have your problems. Hopefully there are enough parents that have the sense to see it and not like it and say something about it. Those people that administrate these leagues of teams should check very carefully about individual teams and how they're being handled. And your body really, I don't think, is ready for the true physical activity of tackle football till 12 and maybe 14 years of age, more likely 14. And there are a lot of skills you can develop that can be related to football outside of the game. I think soccer is a good one. There are a lot of others.
People come to me and they'll say, they've got a kid in the junior high here that's super. I'll even hear about super athletes who are 10. And I'm saying, super athlete at 10? Who cares? Let the kid be somebody first.
We goofed off this week, didn't we, guys?
Yes, sir!
Didn't we?
Yes, sir!
You going to practice hard next week?
Yes, sir!
Are you going to win any more games?
Yes, sir!
How many?
Oh!
Come on, let's go, let's go!
When boys reach high school age, their velocity increases and the game becomes more dangerous.
Hey! Sit! Hunt, hunt!
Get him out of there, Mike. Go over there.
A 2-year study published in 1980 examined the injury rates of 101 Minnesota high schools. The results showed an epidemic rate of 78 injuries per 100 players. The most disturbing finding was the incidence of trauma to the head and neck. Symptoms of cerebral concussion were reported by 19% of the players. Less than half the teams had a physician in attendance at their games, and only 7% had a doctor at practice, where 50% of the injuries occurred. Given the high frequency of injury, playing with pain is not just a virtue, it is a necessity.
Huh? I'll be able to play, will I?
Yeah, you'll be able to play
this week?
I hope you can.
I'm ready Friday, though.
I hope you can.
When you're 17 years old, you have a very limited view. And I think it's important that parents impress upon their children that this is just a game, and it's not life, and it's not the end of the world if you can't do it.
It means a lot, you know, because I want to do my best this year, you know, to go to college. I want to play college ball, you know, and so I want to have a good junior year.
I'll tell you what. You don't have any broken ribs, then you can play next game. Okay?
I want to win. I feel like I'm letting a lot of guys down. That's about it. Go! Just want to play.
Most careers end at the high school level. Only 1 in 60 players will advance to college football. Once again, the physical dangers increase. But so too does the athlete's dedication to the game.
It's pretty much my life. I mean, I've been playing football ever since I was a youngster, and to me, football means a lot. It's my love.
Just the exhilaration of being out on the field with 50,000 people screaming for you or screaming against you, it's a high. It's an ego trip, you know, there's no doubt about it.
At that time, you feel that, you know, you're in college and that's your time. And then, you know, you're doing something where everybody's watching you. It's a sort of spotlight type of thing. You're in the spotlight, and you want to be there as long as you can.
To go through everything that we go through to play the game, it has to be a great game, or we're just totally insane to be playing it.
In college football, it is virtually impossible to avoid injury. During a recent 5-year study, one major university averaged 120 injuries per 100 players. The overwhelming injury rates